Okay, I'm not going to. I'm gonna wear it tomorrow, obviously. Yeah. I'm not in that zone. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Cynthia's family. Great. I'll be here too. Yes. It's an exciting weekend. Yes, they can't do two in one weekend. You know, it's so hard for us people who come twice in one weekend all the time. It's like,
So my attitude was, I enjoy this service.
mm-hmm.
And I needed to be there tomorrow for the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is not forwarded, no other people.
You're gonna sub in, Donna?
Well,
You can read Torah in case someone forgets.
no, no, I'm old enough that all I got was the congregation.
You could still do it.
Okay? But
There are people who are in their 80s doing it.
I figured what I had was enough.
Oh, you know, it is. I'm just saying if you would like more.
I had to go through far more than my brothers did in that bar mitzvah.
Uh-huh.
Well, because I figured Donna was here, and I figured we were all be together.
Michelle's just in the very back row.
Uh-huh.
You can sit wherever you want. The flowers are beautiful.
Do you happen to? Oh, thank you. Perfect. Really appreciate it. Where are the flowers? Hey, look at the flowers. Yeah, she's up here. Is it Gene doing answers? Have you seen him? He's. Good start. I saw Jason come in.
I thought it was Gene. Maybe I read the sheet wrong.
It's okay. It's not a secret. Can't see your breath.
We will sing loud and beautifully, and we'll fill this space with so much warmth and Shabbos warmth, and we can always, huddle around the Shabbos tables. Yay, da, yay, da, da, yay, da, 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 yay, da, yay, da, da, yay, da, 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 yay, da, yay, da, 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 yay, da, yay, da, 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 yay, da, yay, da, 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 ya, da, 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 yay, da, yay, da, da, da. your prayer books, Yedid Nefesh. Our souls leap into Shabbat. Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman, Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman, Meshoch Avdecha, El Retzonecha, Meshoch Avdecha, Yedidididididid, El Retzonecha. Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Hayal Yishtachaveh Yadadadadadadai Emul Hadarecha Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman Yedid Nefesh of HaRachaman Meshoch Avdecha El Retzonecha Meshoch Avdecha Yadadadadadadai El Retzonecha.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for joining us on this snowy evening and braving the roads and the cold weather. I think the snow is a nice blanket. It quiets the world around us and makes things seem more peaceful in this difficult time our world is experiencing. So I welcome the snow. On page 9, we'll continue responsively. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure, but we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, and day of peace. In honor of her bat mitzvah tomorrow, we'll have Cynthia and Howard and Susan Adler and Stephen Goldstein. I'll come up and help light candles on page 2. Half of the audience, yes. No, they'll do motzi. That way we can split it up.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you so much. I will offer you a meditation to help get you in the relaxing mood of Shabbat. If you're able to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable, perhaps uncross any arms or legs and let go of any restrictions. Imagine a blade of grass smelling at you. And imagine the leaves on the trees smiling at you. Imagine the clouds smiling at you. And imagine whatever is behind the clouds, perhaps it's the sun, smiling at you as well. Imagine people smiling at you, some with uninhibited joy, and some with bashful grins, some no longer here on earth, but whose souls still smile. Imagine that even those who have blockaded their hearts, who live in the relentless chill of self-protection. Even they have a place inside of them that yearns to smile at you. Imagine the invisible God smiling at you, a smile that cannot be contained, a smile that is everlasting, a smile infinite in depth. And imagine all of these smiles of the grass, the trees, the cloud, the sun, the people. Imagine all those smiles together. And if you're uncertain or even terrified how to respond, just take a breath and smile back. Continue with a song on our screen, Lechu Neradana.
Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, l'Adonai, yai lai lai la lai lai, Nariya, yai dai 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 dai, Letzur Yishenu, yai lai lai la lai lai. Let us sing out to God, maker of all, sure and strong. Let all of creation from mountain to sea hear our song. Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, l'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai, Nariya, yai dai 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 dai, Letzur Yishenu, yai dai 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 dai. For all of the wonder in all of God's light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice. Lechu neranena, yai dai 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 dai, l'Adonai, yai dai 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 dai, Nariya, yai dai 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 dai, Letzur Yishenu, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai 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 dai.
Continue on page 20, welcoming the Sabbath bride.
Lecha dodi likrat kala. Let's try this. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Bishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem ol tifaret v'litzchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. שבת לכו ונכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please rise and face the doors.
בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשחולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. Continue on page 27, the bottom of the page. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, מעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Continue on page 29. There is one who sings a song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings a song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with a song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless. On page 28, we rise. L'barchu.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai. Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umechalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotechem birakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla. Adonai tzivaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Page 33, below the line. Torah is what God has revealed to us, and what we discern of God, ideas and ideals, laws and mitzvot, our religious heritage. It unfolds our memories of Abraham and Sarah, of Moses and Miriam and the prophets. It is legislation and explanation, allowing questions that challenge, answers that inspire, all a quest for meaning. It is our way of life, path for our souls, and the design for a better world. Baruch atah Adonai,
Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed.
please be seated. On page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, Time and again, we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Yaida nayana, yaida nayana, yaida 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 Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, le'olam va'ed.
Continue with a reading on our screen. Blessing of galaxies, blessing of stars, great stars, small stars, red stars, and blue ones. Blessing of nebula, blessing of supernova, planets, satellites, asteroids, comets. Blessing of our sun and moon, blessing of our earth, oceans, rivers, continents, and mountain ranges. Blessing of wind and cloud, and blessing of rain, fog bank, snowdrift, lightning, and thunder. Bless the wisdom of the Holy One above us. Bless the truth of the Holy One beneath us. And bless the love of the Holy One within us. Continue on page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umebi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham be'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mahashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidol melech, Melech meimit, Umechayem Chayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua B'ne'eman Ata L'Hachayot HaKol Baruch Ata Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Ata Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yehallelucha Selah Baruch Ata Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Please be seated. In our Torah portion, we hear the blessings of all of Jacob's children except for one. He doesn't offer a blessing for Dinah. And so this one by Rabbi Sue Levi Elwell fills that gap for us. I have wrestled with the words with which to bless you, Dinah, daughter of Leah. A child, you went out to see the daughters of the land, and you returned a woman. Did you raise your voice? Your cries were not heard. And blood flowed through the streets of Shechem, and I was afraid. Like your mother, you walk among the people with head unbowed. May that strength and clarity of vision continue in the generations to come. To you, my daughter, belong the blessings of the breast and the womb, blessings of justice and care. Your offspring will learn many tongues and practice healing arts. They will build cities of righteousness, and none shall make them afraid. Page 55. Below the line, the meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Page 59. We can join together at the bottom. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We take time for silent prayer and internal reflection.
Yehiyu leratzon imrei fi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai tzuri begoali.
When I was a kid, I was convinced that I was a favorite child. I got more attention, My parents seemed more lenient with me, and I felt closer to them than my sister. I was the youngest child. My dad called me his best friend, but perhaps I just needed more attention with my need for help in school, my desire to prove myself to them. Of course, we all think we're the favored child of our parents, and we often play favorites with close friends or in other places. In Genesis, we see favoritism with every single family, and usually it's the younger sibling who is the favored. Jacob's children have demonstrated their continuation of the troubled sibling dynamic of the previous generation, and Jacob witnesses the ongoing struggle between his children, a familiar dynamic that threatens not only a family, but the fulfillment of God's promise. Just before Jacob dies, the Midrash tells us that he gathers all of his children and grandchildren around his bed to give them a glimpse of redemption. His real concern, according to our rabbis, is that his sons will abandon his God after he has died. Perhaps in reference to this, the Holy Presence departs from Jacob, and he worries that this has occurred because one of his sons is not worthy of the knowledge of God. But they assure him that they understand his lessons of unity and the connectedness of all. The Talmud says his sons responded to his fears with the very familiar words, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Jacob is so relieved that this essential lesson has been passed on, that Adonai is our God, that he gives his blessing with this response, the very common response that you might hear, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is the name whose glorious presence is forever and ever. And in that moment, the Holy Presence comes back. Love expressed between the generations has awakened the possibility of unity and of harmony. And then Jacob addresses each of his sons and expresses his predictions for their future without considering the effect of his words. For some, his words are short and sweet. For others, there are mixed or even harsh words. But once again, his unabashed preference for Joseph is very obvious by virtue of both the content and length of his blessing. To the majority of his sons, Jacob gives a bitter, reproachful broadside, demonstrating that age has neither softened him nor dented his memory. Only does Judah receive an uplifting and fortifying message. But during Jacob's life, Joseph seems to be the favored one. And this leads to much jealousy and strife, as you might remember. In the end, it also leads to slavery and deception. And the brothers are conferring about what to do with Joseph, and they first want to kill him. And then Reuben suggests throwing him into a pit instead. And Judah says not to. Instead, they should sell him as a slave and just tell their dad that he's dead. With all this in mind of what Judah did in this situation, why is Judah the legacy of Jacob's children? There are many things that he did previously that were wrong, including things with Tamar and the suggestion to enslave his own brother. And so we can try to answer this question chronologically. There isn't really a great answer, but here are some theories. When Leah gave birth to Judah, she said, "This time I praise Adonai." And he is named Judah, and then she stops having children. Before Judah, all of her prayers were focused on trying to get God to end her pain. And so this time, she turns her attention away from her grief and pain and praises God anyway. In the incident with Tamar, Judah confesses and takes the full responsibility for that. When the brothers encounter Joseph 20 years later, Joseph sees much growth in Judah. He's willing to protect Benjamin, his brother, because he knew Jacob would die, given that one soul was bound up with the other. And he offers to take Benjamin's place when Joseph demands that he stays in Egypt as a slave. And hearing these words, Joseph is able to forgive them, and he embraces his brothers. Jacob, who is disappointed in his first three sons, he disqualifies Reuben and Shimon and Levi, leaving Judah to serve as the leading tribe, securing our birthright. And so Judah is known as the king of beasts, an appropriate emblem for him, and he's a tribe linked with King David, an eternal dynasty. The future is now tied to him, who survives the destruction and deportation of the Babylonians, providing continuity for the entire children of Israel for all of us today. Jacob says to Judah, "Your scepter shall not depart from you. Your throne is of God forever and is a staff of righteousness." And so in the end, Judah is understood to be this emblem and metaphor of strength, to be daring and invincible, and an emblem of sovereignty. Genesis began with much rivalry between siblings, a jealousy that threatens humanity before it even begins. And then the book ends with a father blessing all of his children. In contrast to his own father's goodbye, Jacob's death represents a profound shift in the mood of the Torah. Here, the patriarch sees his children standing together. The youngest has received the lion's share of blessing, but not by tricking his siblings out of their shares. And there is something in the flow of Jacob's final blessings to his children that indicates a new kind of relationship, one that offers all of us a lesson. We learn from this Torah portion and from the whole book of Genesis to treat everyone equally, just as Jacob attempted to at the end of his life, giving every one of his children a blessing. Even if some of those blessings were better than others, we recognize that many made mistakes, they were given another chance, and we can remember the humanity of everyone. As a result, we are challenged to ask, how have we grown, just as Judah may have grown? In answering this, may we work to embody the symbol of Judah as a lion and a metaphor of strength going forward. Shabbat Shalom. We want to offer a prayer for Israel. This is written by Rabbi Karen Kadar. Peace, please. We gather together in faith and with hope to pray for peace and for the safety of the people of Israel. Help us, O Holy One, and protect us in our hour of need. Touch our hearts, lest they be hardened with despair. Guide our thoughts, lest they overcome with fear. Bring healing to the wounded, strength to those in mourning, courage to those in fear, wisdom to those who lead. Yadid Nefesh, beloved one, reveal yourself and fill the world with your light. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Be quick, God of love, for the time has come. Have mercy upon us, eternal one of peace. We also want to offer a blessing of healing for those in our community, for those who are in need of being lifted up. Today we are thinking of Mark, Steve Bloom, Linda Bloom, Suzanne Christie, Joe Crane, Linda Davis, Tracy Ford, Richard Fordyce, Howard Fridson, Eileen Heiger, Joel Katz, Amy Klein, Brian Newhouse, Jerry Nichols, Carol Benovowitz, Eric Richards, Susan Rubenstein, Brenda Saperstein, Marcia Silverman, Eddie Stein, Shelley Taub, Sherry Topper, Julian Wendrow, Gloria Zytok, and Judy Zimmerman. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so.
Chuck Fleischman.
Our prayer for healing is on page 253.
Mi sheberach avoteinu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha laavotenu. Bless those in need
We hope that our prayers reach those in Los Angeles and in Palisades, all those who are affected by the wildfires. We continue on page 282 with the Alenu. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedula li'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. For a few people, can we repeat a phrase like Jacob lived? When a person dies, a death notice appears in the press. In reality, though, it is a life notice, because for it, the world would never have known that the person had ever been alive without it. Only one who has been a force for human goodness can be said to have lived. We think of those who have passed away in recent days and weeks. Today we're remembering Rosa Schindler, Richard Ehrlich, and Leroy David Miller. We think of those who have passed away in this season in years past. Today we're remembering Francois Akar, Lise Akar, Helene Akar, Jean Akar, and Jeanne Akar, Charles Oslerner, Helene Oslerner, Macha Oslerner, Joseph Buchsbaum, Newton Einsting, Julia Epstein, Rose Faber, Benjamin Foreman, Samuel Friedman, Lillian Rosenfeld Friedman, Marvin D. Gersick, Oscar Gold, Margaret Gutman, B.G. Hirschman, June Holmes, Claire Cash, Marion Kahn, Simon Keshman, Sarah Keshman, Max Clayman, Abe Coven, David Lebenbaum, Helen Levine, Samuel Levine, David Morganson, Morton Miller, Maurice Miller, Sarah Milmett, May Moss, Julian Nussbaum, Shirley Rosenberg, Lois Rosenthal, Mary August Seidman, Alan Sherwin, Sarah Siegel, Anna Silverman, Esther Slotkin Snyder, Stefan Taub, Elizabeth Vorenberg, Alan A. Warson, and Juliana Zarinsky. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so. And we rise for Kaddish, page 294.
Gadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ulamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru, amen.
Please be seated. We have some announcements from Jason. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for Shabbat services. Thank you to our ushers, Shelley, and of course to Henry over there, working the stream. Tomorrow morning, January 11th, at 10:30 a.m., Rabbi Shriman will have her first TKA Adult B'nai Mitzvah class, and all these wonderful women will become bat mitzvah. There will be lunch following the service, open to the congregation. Come and see how these amazing women have worked to achieve this milestone, in particular Cynthia. Join us this Sunday, January 12th at 12:30 for our Adama pickling event. It's BYOL, bring your own lunch, and learn about pickling. The cost for the event is $5 to cover the cost of the supplies, so only $5 a person. Try out our new Shabbat Shake-Up. Come join us for an intimate, unique Shabbat experience in a member's home on Friday, January 17th at 7 o'clock p.m. Be sure to notify the temple office of your plans to attend, and we will share the location with you. So it's a need-to-know basis. You have to register to know where it is. There will be no in-person services or streaming at all on that evening of Shabbat. On Saturday, January 18th at 11 a.m., TKA will honor the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. by commemorating the Shabbat nearest to MLK Day as Shabbat Tzedek, Shabbat of Justice. Saturday, January 19th at 1 p.m., the Social Action Committee and Midtown Composting are hosting a composting education class. Come and learn all about the new composting procedures we have here at TKA. On Tuesday, January 21st at 3 p.m., join Carolyn Herman for our current events group, a lively discussion about what is happening in our world. If you have any questions about anything that I just read or to RSVP, please contact the temple office. And as always, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Do you want to stay and do Kiddush and Moser?
Yeah.
Okay, I just think your dad has to do the Kiddush, because it's not great Kiddush. Thank you. Page 5. Libby, come join. Yes, thank you.
We raise the cup in thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziad mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'tei avon.
Peace. Thank you so much for all your help. Page 321, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'eit na'asa b'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora vehu haya vehu hoveh vehu yiyeh betifara vehu yiyeh betifara vehu echad v'yein sheni lecham shilo lechach bira v'li reshit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra vehu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chevli b'yetzara vehu nisi umanosli v'nad kosi v'yom ekra v'nad kosi v'yom ekra v'yado avtid ruchi v'eiti shan v'ya'ira v'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira.
May you feel whole, knowing you are enough. May you feel confident, knowing you are prepared. May you feel calm, knowing the storm will pass. And may you feel at peace, knowing you are loved. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Please join us for Oneg in the lobby.